Śrī Caitanya Vandeham śrī-guṇḍicā-mandira-mārjana-līlā 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 Sadhana Raghunatam Vikantam Sajivam Sammārjayan Samaruta Harijana Sahitam Krishna Kshetra Swami Krishna Kshetra Swami Namo Krishna Krishna Kshetra Bhaktivinoda Swami Namaste Saraswati Goranga Hey Krishna, Madhya, Lila Bhakti, Tata Kanchana Goranga Radhe Tameshwari Vishakam Jaya Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Dobro jutro.
Jutro.
Kako ste vi?
Dobro smo vi. Kako ste vi?
How is everyone? So far, so good?
Yes.
No? Hungry. Quick, get him some food. So, today is there is one observance on the calendar today, and that is Gundicha-mandira-mārjana. Do you all know? Who doesn't know what that means? Okay, that's okay. you'll find it. Gundicha is a temple in Jagannath Puri. And Marjana, what means Marjana?
Clean.
Clean, yes. So today is the celebration of the day that Caitanya Mahāprabhu, with his associates, with his friends, they all went to this temple to do a big, what we sometimes today call Maha cleaning, or what would you say in Srpski?
Veliko čišćenje. Veliko spremanje, veliko čišćenje.
Veliko čišćenje.
Čišćenje.
Čišćenje. Yeah. Veliko čišćenje. So, Gundicha veliko čišćenje we're celebrating today. And I thought this is very, very nice as a starting point, especially for discussion today. And so I've selected first one verse for chanting and reading, and then we will look at some other verses, not in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, but in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, if that is permitted. It's all right? No. Not permitted. We only read Śrīmad Bhagavatam. May we chant this verse? No?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. Good. So first we will chant Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Bhaktivinoda Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Bhaktivinoda Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Bhaktivinoda. One more time. Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Bhaktivinoda. Very cool. Okay, here we go. Krishna Kshetra Swami has composed, has written this amazing work, the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, at a time when he was very elderly. So much so that he says, I don't know if I'll be able to finish. He says, my hands are shaking as I write. The implication is not that they're shaking out of ecstasy, but they're shaking out of old age. And still, of course, he came from Bengal, but at a very early age, maybe in his early 20s. He went to Vrindavan, and he stayed in Vrindavan for the rest of his life. And he had association there with the Goswamis, the 6 Goswamis. And he especially credits Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami for inspiring and guiding him in composing the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. He also takes inspiration from the deity, Shri Radha Madan Mohan, especially is very special for him. But the point I want to make is that he wrote the Caitanya-caritāmṛta in Bengali language, but he also quotes many, many verses, more than 400 verses in Sanskrit, but he also composed Sanskrit verses. And this is one of the verses which he composed. Every first verse of every chapter of the 62 chapters, it's a Sanskrit verse. So this is in Sanskrit. Let's see. Śrī Gundica-mandiram ātma-vṛndaiḥ.
Śrī Gundica-mandira-mārjana-līlā.
Śrī Gundica-mandiram ātma-vṛndaiḥ.
Śrī Gundica-mandira-mārjana-līlā.
Sammārjayan kṣālanataḥ gauraḥ.
Sammārjayan gauraḥ.
Sammārjayan sammārjana. Wake up. Sammārjayan kṣālanataḥ gauraḥ.
Sammārjayan gauraḥ.
sva-citta-vac śītalam ujjvalam ca.
sva-citta-vac
sva-citta-vac śītalam ujjvalam ca. kṛṣṇopaveśaupayikaṁ cakāra. kṛṣṇopaveśaupayikaṁ cakāra. Others?
Śrī Gundica-mandira-mārjana-līlā.
Sammārjayan kṣālanataḥ gauraḥ.
Sammārjayan gauraḥ.
Sva-citta-vac śītalam ujjvalam ca.
Sva-citta-vac ujjvalam ca.
kṛṣṇopaveśaupayikaṁ
kṛṣṇopaveśaupayikaṁ cakāra.
Don't be shy.
Śrī Gundica-mandira-mārjana-līlā. Sammārjayan sva-citta-vac ujjvalam ca. kṛṣṇopaveśaupayikaṁ cakāra. Śrī Gundica-mandira-mārjana-līlā. Sammārjayan gauraḥ. Sva-citta-vac ujjvalam ca. kṛṣṇopaveśaupayikaṁ cakāra.
One more for the measure.
Śrī Gundica-mandira-mārjana-līlā. Sammārjayan kṣālanataḥ. Sva-citta-vac ujjvalam ca. kṛṣṇopaveśaupayikaṁ cakāra.
Samicina. Samicina. Say samicina.
Samicina.
Don't look there, you won't find it there. Samicina means excellent. Okay, what does this mean? Śrī Gundicha. Known as Gundicha. Mandiram. The temple. Ātma-vṛndaiḥ. With his associates. Sammārjayan. Washing. As in Marjana, sammārjayan. complete washing. Kṣālanataḥ, by cleansing. That. Gauraḥ, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, sva-citta-vat, like his own heart. Śītalam, cool and calm. Ujjvalam, bright and clean. And Krishna of Lord Krishna, upaveśa for the sitting, aupayikam befitting, which means appropriate, cakāra made. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. There's no purport to this verse, but we will read from a later purport. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu washed and cleansed the Gundicha temple with his devotees and associates. In this way, he made it as cool and bright as his own heart. And thus he made the temple a befitting place for Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa to sit. Before we discuss this further, I want to read something from Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. Yesterday was his Tirunelveli, and as most of you know, Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura is our great-grandfather, grandfather, or great-grandfather, or great-great-grandfather, guru of our Guru Parampara. And he holds a very special place in our line of acharyas for many reasons. But I think an important reason is that he is the pioneer of bridging, you could say, the tradition of our tradition, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, which thrived, or somewhat thrived at his time, in a very traditional culture. He bridged with modern culture. He saw that times are changing. Times are changing, and with the times, the culture is changing. And so many ideas were coming in his home country, in his home area of Bengal. Many people were jumping to embrace, especially Western ideas. And initially, Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura was doing the same, but something changed in his life, and that's what I want to read briefly, specifically in relation to Caitanya-caritāmṛta. I'm reading this to inspire you about reading of Caitanya-caritāmṛta, which you have in, do you have in Serbian language? You have, yes. And Croatian language. How many of you have read Caitanya-caritāmṛta? Very good. And for the rest of you, 50% of your life is wasted. But you can save your life by reading Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So this is Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura himself speaking. I'll try to read not too fast. On my first reading of Caitanya-caritāmṛta, I developed some faith in Śrī Caitanya. Now, this is in the 1860s. He's already in his 30s, and he's writing this. He's kind of telling his story, how he became a Hare Krishna. On the second reading, so he's read it once, and he says, I developed some faith in Śrī Caitanya. Now he says, on the second reading, I understood that there was no pundit equal to Śrī Caitanya. Okay, he understands now that Śrī Caitanya is a learned pundit. Then I had a doubt. Being such a learned scholar and having manifested the reality of love of Godhead to such an extent, how is it that he recommends the worship of the improper character of Krishna? I was initially amazed at this, and I thought about it deeply. Now, here I want to explain that at this time in India there was a quite widespread common understanding, which was very much influenced by Western Victorian thinking, that Krishna, he is very naughty, and only low-class people worship Krishna. Low-class and, you could say, degraded people. This was a common understanding, and there's a lot to that history, but this is why Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura at this time is having some doubt. It was in the air, you could say. Afterwards, I prayed to the Lord with great humility, and now he tells us what is his prayer. We are hearing about prayer. So you want to hear what Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura's prayer was? No? Yes. No? Yes. Okay. O Lord, please let me understand the mystery of this matter. The mercy of God is without limit. O Lord, please let me understand the mystery of this matter. That was his prayer. O Lord, please let me understand the mystery of this matter. And then he goes on to explain the mercy of God is without limit. Seeing my eagerness and humbleness, within a few days, he bestowed his mercy upon me and supplied the intelligence by which I could understand. What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? Tesham sakata-yuktanam sajitam priti-purvakam Adharma tam yenam upayanti te. Right? He says, you worship me. I give you intelligence. What kind of intelligence? The intelligence by which you can come to me. So Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura had that faith. And as a result, he says, in a few days, this understanding, this intelligence by which I could understand, by which he could understand, came to him. I then understood that the truth of Krishna is very deep and confidential, and the highest principle of the science of Godhead. From this time on, I knew God is Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. I made an effort to always speak with renounced Vaishnava pundits. Notice, He's going from a little faith to great faith. And then and he has done this through what? Through prayer. He experiences the Lord, responds to that prayer, gives him understanding. And now what does he do? Does he just shrug his shoulders and say, well, that was interesting? No. Then he says, I made an effort to always speak with renounced Vaishnava Pandits. And I came to understand many aspects of the Vaishnava Dharma. In my very childhood, the seed of faith in the Vaishnava religion was planted in my heart. And now it has sprouted. From the beginning, I experienced anuraga. Anuraga means ongoing attraction. And it was very wonderful. Day and night, I liked to read about Krishna Tattva. Day and night, I liked to read about Krishna Tattva. That's so nice. So he's describing, he said, I read Caitanya-caritāmṛta, I read it through. I got some faith. Then I read it again, but then I had a doubt. Then I prayed to Krishna. Then Krishna cleared from it. Then I realized, yes, not only Krishna is God, but Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. So that Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu has a pastime with his devotees. One day he goes with his friends, with his followers, with so many devotees. First he takes permission from the superintendent of the temple and from Kashi Mishra, who is kind of head priest of the Jagannath temple. And also Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who is he's the court pundit. So he gets their permission and then they agree, yes, let there be this festival of cleaning the temple of Gundicha. Now, Gundicha temple, as far as I understand, and I may be corrected here, but you may ask, why would there be a need to clean this temple? Don't the priests clean the temple, or the priest's assistant or something? Apparently this temple is unoccupied throughout the year except for 1 week of the year. Is this a correct understanding? Some of you are experts in, yes. Yes, so the Gundicā-mandira is basically just sitting and collecting dust for, 51 weeks of the year. And then what happens on the 52nd week, which is the week which we are in right now, is Lord Jagannath comes. Why does he go to this temple, Gundicā-mandira? Well, according to one source that I've heard, and there's always, the Lord has many reasons in doing whatever he does. But one of the reasons he goes to Gundicā-mandira is for getting fed. Now you may say, wait, isn't he getting fed in Nilachala, in his temple? Oh yes, he's getting fed very well. He's getting 56 chappan boga every day, plenty, lots. There's a huge kitchen in the temple compounds, and they're cooking all the time. Huge pots of wonderful preparations. Who has been in Jagannath Puri and received Jagannath Mahaprasada? Who has not yet been there and received Jagannath Prasada? 75% of you love this place. Hare Krishna. Am I right? Am I right? Jagannath Prasadam is very special. So, they're preparing for this occasion of Lord Jagannath coming to Gundicā-mandira, where, again, as I understand, one meaning of Gundicha is auntie, as in aunt and uncle. So the auntie of the Lord cooks for the Lord. When you go to visit your aunt, your auntie, what does she do? She cooks for you, right? No? Yeah. And she cooks a lot. Yeah. So that's the idea. He goes and he gets even more, apparently, than he gets in his home temple. Okay, in any case. So this is what's being described in this chapter. And the thing that I want to highlight in this story, a couple of things. First, we can go to, oops, that's not it. Let's go back. Yeah. These machines sometimes cooperate and sometimes don't. Thank you for your patience. We're getting there. Yeah. Okay, let's go here. Okay, hundreds of devotees, yes. Purnapambalaya, Aisheshattavaktagan, Shunyabhaktalaya Jai, Arashattajan. Hundreds of devotees brought water in the pots, and hundreds took the empty pots away to fill them up again. Now, I need some help here. I think, yes, Bhaktivinoda. Can you please volunteer yourself to come up? So, you're one of Krishna's associates, and you are helping in this cleaning. Is that all right?
Yes.
He's getting right into his role. What was that just?
One more company.
Oh, that's it, spitting into that. Okay, now there are hundreds of devotees with pots of water. They're bringing pots of water. Can you bring a pot of water? We need another devotee to receive the pot of water. Oh, he's leaving. Oh, he's actually getting it. Come back. Bhaktivinoda, can you be a pot receiver? He's actually getting a pot. I didn't mean it. We may have to get another part where, you know, the idea is pantomime, right? But he's taking it with it. We're feeling separation from Bhaktivinoda. Okay, anyway, meanwhile, let's see if he comes back. Maybe he got lost. Nityananda Advaita Swarupa Bharati Puri Imamina Dinu Arashava Anijamali. Now several devotees are going and looking. With the exception of Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita-charya, Sharupa Damodara, Brahmananda Bharati, and Paramananda Puri, everyone was engaged in filling the water pots and bringing them there. Gotte hekki gotta vangigera, shatta gotta lokata. Many of the water pots were broken when people collided with one another.
Let's bring few.
Okay. Did you just collide with each other? Okay, and the pot broke. This is amazing. I'm speechless. Wait, don't go away. I forgot to, am I giving you something? Huh?
You should collide now.
Yeah. I forgot to give you the instruction to do this in Canton. Before I could say anything, you were already gone. And now you have come with the real thing. But this pot will not break. And it says here that many of the water pots were broken when people collided. Why would they break? Because they're made of ceramic, they're made of clay. No. Jalavare Gharadoya, Hore Haridwani, Krishna Haridwani Vina, Arunahi Shuni. Here's the point for us. Some people were filling the pots. Okay. And others were washing the rooms. I don't know if they would be sitting like that.
Lazy wash.
Lazy, yeah, lazy washing. But everyone was engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna kahi kare, gottera prarthana. Krishna Krishna kahi kare, gotta samarpana. One person begged for a water pot by chanting the holy name, Krishna Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna.
And another delivered a pot while chanting
Krishna, Krishna.
Okay. Jai Jai Kahe, Shai Kahe, Krishna Name, Krishna Namahoyma, Shanketa Shabbatani. Whenever anyone had to speak, he did so by uttering the holy name of Krishna. Consequently, the holy name of Krishna became an indication for everyone who wanted something. So whenever anyone wanted something, and what did they want? Well, they wanted pots of water, or they wanted rooms. That was basically what they wanted. And so how did they express what they wanted? So you may say, well then how would one understand what was wanted if all you're saying is how would they understand? By gesturing? Okay. What other possibility?
Face expression.
Huh?
Face expression.
Face
expression.
Facial expression. Okay. What's the facial expression of someone who wants a pot of water? What that would look like. Okay, he's using his arms as well as his body. Yeah, facial expression. Okay, so one way that we communicate, of course, is with our physical bodies. Certainly, we communicate. We have what's called body language, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. And so whenever anyone had to speak, that's what they were doing. Prema-veśe prabhupada, Krishna Kshetra Akole prema-veśe Kore-shakta-janekam. As Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu was vibrating the holy name of Krishna in ecstatic love, he himself was performing the work of hundreds of men. So the word prema-veśa comes twice in this verse. Prema-veśa. Aveśa can mean something like possessed. You know the word possessed as in possessed by a ghost? What would it be in Serbian? Obsednut. So, a few times in Caitanya-caritāmṛta it says that Caitanya Mahāprabhu was prema obsednut. Huh? Yeah, so in this mood, what is Lord Chaitanya doing? Ekale prema veśa kare shakta janekam. He's doing the kam, the work, which I think is a Hindi word in this case, not kam quoted. Anyway, he's doing the work of hundreds. So this is a point that I wanted to call attention to. There are several verses in this chapter. You can read it's chapter 12 of the Madhya, in which Caitanya Mahāprabhu is being a teacher. He is teaching the devotees how to clean, and he's doing so by his example. He's doing by his example, but he's also calling attention to those who are expert, who are doing very well. He acknowledges those who are doing very well. He also makes something of a competition. Who can gather together the bigger pile of dust? Can we see some of this, a competition for different piles of dust? You can stand. Please feel free to stand.
I'm leaning on my pile of dust.
Oh, I see. Okay. But competition means there's someone else also. Who else? Yeah? Okay. Oh, yours is... Oh! Okay. Okay. So, my dear devotees, as Satyananda Swami always so nicely says, I need to learn this expression also. What I want to suggest for us to reflect on is the idea of leadership and the idea that we, all of us, are leaders. One way of reading Srila Prabhupada's books is to appreciate how he is teaching all of us to be leaders. And he was doing this by his example, of course. What better leader can we think of in any respect than Srila Prabhupada, isn't it? And this is an important reason why I encourage you. I know that, again, English is not your first language, but many of you are understanding and able to read English, and this is very amazing. So you can read Srila Prabhupada's books with his purports. You can also read his letters. Do you know that Srila Prabhupada wrote, I've heard the number 6,000, something like 6,000 letters. But anyway, a lot of letters. And in his letters, he's giving very practical, very specific advice to the many devotees. And he's always encouraging. Sometimes he's a little bit scolding also, but most of the time he's encouraging. And he's giving ideas. And the general point I want to make here is that Srila Prabhupada, from day one, he was expecting all of his disciples, all of his followers, to take leading roles. He would send devotees to different places to start preaching programs. We say in English, to get thrown into the deep end of the pool. Do you know what I mean by that? So you have a swimming pool, and usually swimming pools have a shallow end where you can, step in carefully, dip your toes in, and then there's the deep end, and usually the diving board is on the deep end. So Prabhupada would throw devotees into the deep end. Sink or swim was the program. Let's get a demonstration of this. Can I get a demonstration? Sink or swim? Sink or swim? In a swimming pool. Okay. Who wants to sink or swim? So, sink or swim, this is our program. Welcome to the sink or swim program. But there's no option of sinking. My dear devotees, we're all supposed to swim. And how do we do that? We understand that we are meant to become qualified as leaders. Now, for most of us, this will sound very strange, because we're always told to be a good follower, isn't it? Jiva Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nityadas Tatasta Bhakti Tatasta Shakti Veda Veda Prakash. We are eternal servants of the Lord. Jiva Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nityadas. Because of being in the Tatasta Shakti. So what is this about being a leader? Being a master? Yes, it means being a servant leader. To understand we are servants. That is our position. If we can take up this, if we can take seriously, I am a leader. We're all leaders. We are leaders in our family. We are leaders in relation to certain others. Others look to us for example, for one or another activity or way of being. Can we expand that? Can we expand it? So this is one of the points which I think we can reflect on. And I want to just leave you with this idea. And how can we learn to become leader? By Srila Prabhupada's example, by engaging in service, and by studying, in particular, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between two leaders, Arjuna and Krishna. And one of the leaders is going to the other leader and saying, I need your guidance. And then the other leader, Krishna, is giving guidance for the first leader, Arjuna, to be a lead, to be an effective leader. So you can read the Bhagavad Gita in this sense. So this is a big topic. The whole Bhagavad Gita is about this. I want to now go to Srila Prabhupada's purport, just briefly. That kind of famous purport that he gives in verse 135. E matta puradvada age patta jata shakala shudila taha ke varnide kota. Outside the gateway of the temple, so this is after they've cleansed the temple not once but twice, all the roads were also cleansed, and no one could tell exactly how this was done. So not only in the temple, but also outside the temple. And I think this is also an interesting point, that we can think about how it is that we take care not only for the sort of immediate area of our concern, but to also take care for beyond our immediate area of concern. Srila Prabhupada says, actually quoting Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura, in commenting on the cleansing of the Gundicha temple, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura says that Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, as the world leader, was personally giving instructions on how one should receive Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, within one's cleansed and pacified heart. Cleansed and pacified. If one wants to see Krishna seated in his heart, he must first cleanse the heart, as prescribed by Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu in his Shikshastakam. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagnivivadanam Śrī-guṇḍicā-mandira-mārjana-līlā vidyāvajūjjivalam ānandamudivādanam pratipalam purnam ritasvadanam sarvabhavam asmapanam param vijayate Śrī Krishna Sankirtanam. So Cheto Darpana-marjana, cleansing. In this age, everyone's heart is especially unclean. As confirmed in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Pridyantasto hyavadhanam, to wash away all dirty things accumulated within the heart, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu advised everyone to, guess what?
Hare Krishna.
Chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The first result will be that the heart is cleansed, Cheto Darpana-marjana. And then he goes on. Similarly, Śrīmad Bhagavatam confirms, Śrītalam, sva-citta-vac Krishna, punya-śravana kirtana vrityakasto, iyavadrani vidhunoti. Vidhunoti means purified. Surit Satam. Śrī Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, the super soul, in everyone's heart, not just in some hearts, but in everyone's heart. And the benefactor of the truthful devotee. cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Now, Prabhupada mentions here the truthful devotee, and this, I think, is an integral principle in relation to leadership. And I want to read something briefly, and please bear with me. And I'm going to apologize first to the GBC, which has made a rule that we should not promote our own books from the Vyasa-san.
But this is not real Vyasa.
It's not a Vyasa-san. There was a silence there for a moment, everyone went. Okay, that's there. So, I just completed a book called Yoga and Animal Ethics, and it's now available. I mention it because it's available easily for you to access if you want. If you search the title of the book, Yoga and Animal Ethics, you can come to the website and you can download it, a digital copy if you like. So in this book, one of the things I discuss, because it's about yoga, and yoga is classically dealing in classical yoga, Ashtanga yoga, with yama, which is literally restraint. And one of the principles of restraint is ahimsa, which we relate with very easily with the idea of animal ethics. But the second one is Satya, or truth, which I call enacting truth. So I just want to read a couple of paragraphs. Is it all right with you if I do this?
Yes. Yes.
No?
Yes.
Okay. I'll read slowly because now we're in a different style of language, somewhat academic. In his study of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, called the Yoga of the Luminous, Christopher Chappell, who is, I know him personally, do you know Christopher Chappell? He's a very nice person who very much appreciates the devotees, a scholar in America. Christopher Chappell shares a personal realization about the nature of truth as an integral element of yoga practice. Are we practicing yoga? Some say yes and some say no. Uh-oh, looks like we have to have an argument now. How about bhakti yoga? No? Yes. You're still a little hesitant about that. He says truth is an integral element of yoga practice, intimately related with care. Here's the quote from Chris Chappell. He says, like a child, the world does not know how to live by itself. It requires constant attention and careful, patient understanding. Truth necessitates care. Without care, there can be no world, no Satya, no life. And then I go on to explain the Sanskrit word Satya is an abstract noun from Sat, a term with a wide range of meanings, beginning with being, existing, it can also mean real, actual, true, good, or right. Classical yoga subscribes to a realist ontology, Hare Krishna, largely derived from Sankhya thought, in which two aspects of reality are recognized, namely consciousness, subjective, non-material beings, purusha, and objective matter, prakriti. The practice of Satya in pursuit, that is, to realize yoga, in the framework of classical yoga, aims toward discernment, means understanding of the distinction between these two principles. That's a simple point, we know this. Such discernment of the truth of this distinction positions the yogi, yogian, to render appropriate care for living beings in all their varied bodily forms, each in accord with their particular forms and life ways. Does that make any sense? No. Somebody's honest. It means if we become, in our language, Krishna conscious, then we know how to relate with all beings. And that is a principle of truthfulness. More to the specific context of considering, I'm almost done, Satya as a component of self-restraint, because this is yama. Yama means restraint. More to the point of restraint, we can note that the connection between this principle, Satya, and the broader sense of a caring disposition. We just noted in relation to the sense of equal vision, I explained before, arising from commitment to non-harming, that is ahimsa, that the yogi recognizes the being of other beings. This may sound a little strange, but this is, some philosophical language. As objective reality. In this light, to truly care is to place oneself in a position of minimally acknowledging the reality, the being of other beings, thereby consciously restraining the tendency to insist on one's own desires as primary. Conversely, taking one's own desires as primary is to deny the reality and the being, the truth of other beings, and therefore to ignore their needs. Did any of that make any sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so coming back now to the point of truth, to the point of leadership, if we combine these two ideas of leadership and seeking the truth, and combine this with the understanding of leadership means giving example, and it means being a good follower, then bringing this back to Caitanya Mahāprabhu. What does Caitanya Mahāprabhu do in the Gundicā-mandira? We need a demonstration of what he does. Cleaning like 100%, cleaning his hands again. I don't think this. Okay. And he does this with his own cloth, by the way.
It's fine.
I was expecting you to take off your shirt. No, it's okay. I was expecting you to take off your shirt. Lord Chaitanya was cleaning with his own cloth. Yeah, so these are a few thoughts I thought we can reflect on this day of Gundicā-mandira-mārjana. We've already come to 9 o'clock, and I don't want to disturb the schedule. I think we should end at this time, unless there is one burning question or comment. Or is this all right? Do we have time for one?
No, please.
Okay. Yes, Ṭhākura Prabhu. Ṭhākura does workshops in Gita coaching and leadership and so many things. Now he's going to ask me an awkward question.
So, we spoke about
Michael, Jonathan, Michael, George.
this will not be an easy question. If we speak about the purity of our movement, and we want our movement to be leader of the world and exemplary, you spoke about leadership. Then why so many preachers in our movement are quiet about Adharma in ISKCON, like abuse and different criminal activities?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I knew you would ask me a question. Well, to give us...
Can I say something else? I asked, like, Ramguru Mataji, Mahatma Prabhu, what do you suggest as a Brahminical person, as an educator, as a well-wisher of devotees, as a solution for what's happening in our movement? And they say, well, we are trying our best through education, but is education enough to fight Adharma?
Say the last phrase again.
Excuse me?
The last statement, the last sentence.
Is the education enough to fight Adharma in ISKCON?
Oh, is education enough?
Yeah, because they said they are trying through education, they're trying their best.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, apparently, I think what you're saying is it's not enough. Srila Prabhupada emphasized so much he wanted, to establish a Brahminical society, and we sometimes wonder how Brahminical it is. But also, if we read so many of his purports, especially in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, he's very concerned about Kshatriya Dharma. And so it could be that there is need for identifying, maybe instead of just jumping immediately to training, to identifying who are those who are potentially able to act in more kshatriya ways. One thing which I've been a little speaking about in this regard is something which one scholar spoke on, again, a well-wisher of ISKCON spoke about many years ago, the late Thomas Hopkins. He said, you Krishna devotees, you ISKCON, you need to write your history. And he was emphasizing this because he was saying you need to learn from your mistakes. And to do that, you need to acknowledge your mistakes. And to do that, you need to write, you need to record. I spoke about this myself in the ISKCON Leaders Sangha this last February. I gave a short presentation, and I'd like to think it was well received. At the beginning step of this is oral history. It means devotees interview other devotees and just encourage them to speak about whatever they feel is important to speak about. And then recording that. And now, nowadays we have, sometimes for worse, but I think in this case maybe for better, we can use artificial intelligence to transcribe, because transcription takes a lot of time otherwise. So, possibility to transcribe. these interviews, and this can develop into an archive, and then those who are skilled and well-focused, they can draw from this archive to write that which can then help us. I remember yesterday, Satchidananda Maharaj was speaking about looking back in our personal histories. I mentioned this in my presentation in Mayapur. I said, we need to, if you're driving a car, if you don't have a rear view mirror, it can be quite dangerous. Actually, we usually have 3 mirrors, right? So we need a rear view mirror or 2 or 3 to look back in order to know how to go forward and how not to make more accidents and more, to overcome, to avoid Adharma, as you say. So that would be my answer. Okay. Well, we've ended on a somewhat grave note, what is the Sanskrit saying? One should not end on a grave note. But the happy note is that now it's time for prasadam. And this is divine grace. Prasadam means divine grace. So please relish prasadam and have a wonderful day. There are announcements. And now we used to say when I was a kid, when there was announcements in the school, we would say, announcements, announcements, a terrible death to die.
Hopefully it will be not like this.
Thank you all so much for your kind patience, your sharing, your giving your ears. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.